Embassies of Christ, where every home is an embassy.
It's all about winning those souls today.
It's all about winning those souls today.
For marriage, because if you believe that you can, if you love them at the beginning, then you will definitely continue to love them and be willing to work things out to love them. So I definitely think love has its place in marriage.
Yes, and I certainly concur with that, because love is that foundation that really draws the couple together. And then from there, you can base that commitment and the furthering of that relationship.
Is love a choice or a feeling?
I believe that love is a choice that does involve feelings. However, you can choose to love someone as well as you can choose not to love someone. So I do believe that love is a choice.
I agree. I believe that love is a choice. You have to choose to love someone, especially as you continue in a relationship. You have to choose to continue to love them, despite finding out about their faults and the things that you may not necessarily like about them, but you can still choose to love them despite their faults.
Is it possible to get everything on your list that you want in a mate?
I believe that one of the things that I often preface when it comes to lists is that we don't want to be too specific in the sense that we rule out a potential mate. I do believe that there are some essential qualities that have to be, first off, particularly if you're a Christian. You definitely want to marry someone that is saved, someone that loves God, has a relationship with God. And then beyond that, then you can kind of have certain criteria. The question I always says is, does some of the things on your list rule a candidate out? Does it allow that person to grow or to develop? If you, for example, if a young lady says, well, I want a man that makes 6 figures. Well, let's say you meet somebody and he only makes 5 figures, but there's a potential that he could eventually, is that a deal breaker or not? So you really want to be careful with lists. You can certainly pray for those qualities that you would like to see in a mate, but don't rule a mate out because we have such a strict or stringent list for someone that we're to connect with.
Wonderful. Last question. Share with us the moment you knew you were meant to be together.
Let's see, the moment I knew, well, we had been dating, and just as we got to know each other, I just began to have that strong feeling like, you know what, I could spend the rest of my life with Janae McKnight. And well, it was Janae Boyd at the time. And I think as we got to know each other, it became kind of really, really crystal clear, like this is someone that I could spend the rest of my life with. So it was a progression through dating. Initially, as when we first met and started talking about the Lord and about being saved and what God has done, that's what sparked my interest, and it began to grow and develop and say, hey, this is the one for me.
Yes, and for me, it was when, as I continued to learn his different characteristics and just how he was as a person, how he had been brought up, how he took care of me. That was kind of like what started me to thinking like, oh, he's probably a candidate, for Mr. Husband, however we name it as single ladies. But I felt that he could be the one. And then when God told me that for me to follow him as he followed Christ, I knew then also that confirmed that he was my possible mate.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Ambassador School of Ministry. Until next time.